race to sign Hson is starting to heat up. Hear what Todd Boehly had to say about stadium plans. I'll be talking predictor lineup, and my friends, there's even more news reports to get through. So I hope you guys enjoy, man. Hit that like button, share your thoughts and opinions, and thank you to everyone who in the last video gave me some potential content suggestions for this summer. Really interesting, really exciting videos that you guys want to see, and I feel obliged to make that happen this summer. So I hope you guys stick with me on BlueLionsTV. Lots of love, and let's get straight into things. I want to start things off by discussing Todd Boehly's claims that we may not be arriving in our new stadium until 2042. At the moment, we have the 9th largest stadium in the country, and like every few years, we're ranking lower and lower and lower. The stadium is one of the most key things that has to be prioritized and has to get sorted out right now. And Todd Boehly was interviewed yet again by Bloomberg, and here's what he had to say. He said that, it's years, until plans come to fruition in the making, that we start to make plans for the stadium. When we originally bought the club, we agreed initially that we had 15 or 20 years to figure this out, but it is a big project in a really interesting city like London, where there's a lot of constituencies that have an opinion. Obviously, the number one constituency for us is our fan base and what's going to be best for Chelsea. I think everyone recognizes that a club as big as Chelsea should have a stadium that reflects the size of the club, and ultimately that's going to be a strategic advantage. Now, 2042 is a very long way away, and by that time, we're going to have flipping kids. We might even be grandparents, some of us. Like, that is such a long time away. But if Sadiq Khan has things going his way, obviously there are big ambitious plans for London to host the Olympics in 2040, and he's encouraging us to have dialogue and conversations with himself, and hopefully his influence can help us maybe when it comes to securing really difficult locations like the fabled Earls Court site. At the moment, we're battling it out with another company that wants to build developments, offices, retail, etc. But if Sadiq can come through and help a team out, then we might have a chance to make something happen. Now, I want to just shout out Chelsea Fan TV. Excellent interview with one of our owners in Mr. Weiss. Nice that they were able to get some words from him about how the team's doing. And in particular, stuff about the stadium plans, with Mr. Weiss saying that ideally, Earls Court would be the most ideal site and the most ideal situation. But he said, if it's going to happen, I don't know. There's a lot of obstacles. Right now, we don't have one person who drives the project. That's what we need. The meetings, the directors' meetings that I saw, we don't have one person who said, I'm going to make it happen, or it's not going to happen. And I think it really reflects that, things are kind of in limbo right now in terms of if we have a possibility to secure that Earls Court site. Striking deals like this in a city like London is no easy measure at all. It is very difficult. You can't just even pay the money you want and boom, you have things sorted. There's a lot of bureaucracy in this country, maybe too much bureaucracy in England that actually works against the country's best self. Let's keep it real. But anyway, it seems like from Todd Boehly's perspective, as long as we have the right strategy and plan, that is the most important thing. And that is more important compared to rushing a stadium out. And I kind of understand it. I mean, listen, outside of Earls Court, how many amazing locations and sites are there for us to be able to build a stadium? Like, come on, it's really not that simple. So fingers crossed, Sadiq Khan comes through for us, makes something happen. But my friends, share your thoughts and opinions on this story. How are you feeling about this one? Now let's quickly discuss the predicted lineup for our game today. At the time you guys are going to be watching this video, in the second leg against djurgarden. And one thing to know is that the under-18s and under-21 season is now over. So fingers crossed, is there going to be an opportunity for Enzo Maresca to use some of the youth talent that we have, to give them maybe some starts or maybe some strong minutes off the bench tomorrow. As we've learned, Reggie Walsh, Genesis, Antwi and Mueka, they've all trained with the first team, and ideally these guys are featuring against djurgarden tomorrow. So as you guys are seeing on screen, man, here's my predicted lineup. Obviously Jorgensen in goal, a defense of, I'm going for Cuckoo Action-pronged Hson, Badiachil, midfield of Dewsbury Hall, Reece James, and the attack consisting of Miyuka, Tyreek George, Jadon Sancho, and I'd probably assume maybe Madueke might start the first half. Now listen, if it was me, I would love to see some of the academy guys starting. Now, if there was one academy player that I would really love to see tomorrow, it would be Ryan Kavuma McQueen, who, he's featured predominantly for the under-16s. He's been playing for the under-21s. He scored like 3 goals for them this season. Really exciting, really, promising winger. And if it allows some of our first-team wingers to just like fully rest up for our massive game against Newcastle, I'm fully there for that. I'm fully down for that. But yeah, the chances of seeing something like that is pretty next to none, right? But he's someone I would like to see start the game. Same thing would go out for like a Reggie Walsh. It'd be great to see him maybe starting after, playing the last few minutes in the first leg. I'd like to see some of those bold type of changes, even like Ishe Samuel-Smith replacing Kukurea. Just a few small tweaks here and there. But I think realistically, Baraska will do right by, most of the Conference League players that have been selected like throughout the entirety of this tournament. And obviously he's going to respect the fact that we have a must-win game coming up against Newcastle this weekend. So I think this lineup at least will play the first 45 minutes, and I'm praying that we'll see more academy guys getting opportunities, like Antwi maybe replacing a Kukurea later on. Maybe like a Landon Emanalo. At least if the bench is consisting of academy grads, then I'd be happy with that. Because, I mean, come on. We've won the first leg 4-1. Second leg's going to be in our stadium. I mean, the game's just sealed. It's done. It's sorted. And I don't want to take any risks or any gambles of any man picking up some stupid injuries that could cost us, right? So yeah, my guys, that's my predicted lineup. Not the most exciting one, so I'm keeping things brief and short. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments. Tell me, what academy players are you hoping either start or get minutes in tomorrow's second leg? Let us know. And my friends, let's discuss one of the big reports today, big updates surrounding Dean Hson. Now, Bournemouth are already preparing for the inevitable loss of Hson, maybe even Zabani, with Paris Saint-Germain being linked with the Ukrainian. But at the moment, we're still waiting for Hson's final decision. As we know, massive clubs are after him, Liverpool and Real Madrid. And we're learning today from Marca that Madrid may try to come back in the race to sign Hson. They've been very impressed by him. Hson would see Madrid ideally as the number one option, but the only thing that's stopping Madrid is that they won't be going above the financial packages being offered, his way from Prem teams. That's not going to happen. The finances are still a bit techie for them. They're still not ideal, but equally, they're also planning on maybe remaining patient, possibly enticing Saliba to sign for them on a free when his contract expires then, and even maybe thinking about Konate in 2027. And Madrid, there has been their game plan to patiently wait for world-class players to have their contracts expiring. So obviously it's worrying because ideally Madrid would want to sign him before the Club World Cup, but financially we still have the advantage. And at the moment, we are the club that is in the running. Now, Hson's dad even prefers for his son to maybe go to Liverpool, but has been very, very impressed by the whole project that we've sold his way. Access to minutes, game time, and, just like a careful developmental plan for Hson, which would really benefit him, in my opinion. Obviously, more positive news coming out as well. We're learning that at the moment, we're edging Liverpool. We're moving a lot more decisively. We're not wasting time. Liverpool are acting a little bit slow. And obviously, the main thing working against them is that Van Dijk and Konate will forever be the number one centre-back pairing. And Hson, at this age right now, wants to play week in, week out to accelerate his current development. Now, going back to Bournemouth, Bournemouth are targeting non-centre-back in Nathan Zeze. They've made a verbal offer of around 20 million euros. So they're expecting Hson to be out that door. They're going to cash in on him. And at the moment, we are currently the favourites based on the project, access to minutes, and also the fact that financially, we've offered the strongest package out of Madrid, and even Liverpool. So we're putting money behind this kid because we back him. And as I've said already, you guys, the club will make exceptions when it comes to signing out of this world's youth talent and potential. So don't expect everyone we sign to be under 21 years old, but if there's like certain market opportunities that are too good to turn down, we are going to take full advantage. And you guys know I'm a massive fan of Hson. Yeah, really big fan. He scored a great goal recently against Arsenal in their win. And I hope you guys catch my analysis video on Hson, where for me, this guy reminds me of David Luiz in terms of just being a natural football player, being like a midfielder who's playing in defense, who might have a higher defensive ceiling than David Luiz. I think this kid is exceptional. And if we're able to sign him, then yes, make it happen. And watch that analysis video to get even more of my thoughts and opinions and insight behind this game and how he can benefit us and help this team. So share your thoughts and opinions on the Hson updates. And to end things very quickly on just a little rumor that's come out, because, you know, let's have some conversations. There is a rumor coming out suggesting that us alongside United and Arsenal are looking at Patrick Schick of Bayer Leverkusen. Now, this season, he scored around 30 goals for them. The guy is a cultured striker at 29 years old. He's like 6'3", great platform striker, superb left foot. And I think another detail I like about Schick is that he's a player that accepts being that competition striker. He isn't playing week in, week out. Obviously, Boniface is there. Boniface has had his injuries, which Schick has relished because he's been scoring for fun this season. But he understands his place in the team. And he's one of those guys that offers you something a little bit different from like your other striker you'd have in your squad. So he's of particular interest for a lot of teams this summer. He's available at a pretty decent fee at around £34 million. And the player seems to be attracted to making a move to the Premier League now. You know, he's been in Serie A. He's completed the German football as well. Of course, Bayer Leverkusen, sensational, unbeaten season last season, making history. And he's been scoring goals for fun now. And I think at this age now, he'll be thinking to himself, you know what? I go to the Premier League at 29 years old. This is my big boy, high-profile contract that I'm signing. That's setting me up now. I'm playing in the best league, and I'm playing for a team that can allow me to have the possibility to compete for silverware and for titles. So let's watch the space. I say this because you know what it's like. You know, we have our main targets, being Chelsea fans. When it comes to like the end point of windows, there's always like 2 or 3 surprises that come from nowhere that we end up doing business for. And I just think in particular for like positions we're looking at this season, there's a lot of really good options about for multiple positions. Like it's one of those windows, the summer window approaching right now, where there's just a luxury of great players available for pretty decent fees and affordability, and just having access to even buy these guys. So, you know, Schick is a really experienced type of player. Maybe we need to add more experience in the team, especially a different profile to a Nico Jackson that allows Nico to continue to develop, whilst also giving the team more physicality, more link up. And, you know, the guy can also produce sensational, spectacular moments and match-winning moments too. So, again, you're looking at your Schicks, maybe Mateta. There's a few of these like experienced strikers where, I don't know, worst comes to worst, we're not signing our main strikers we want this season. I still think there's some pretty decent names on the market that can help us in the short term at least, right? So my friends, that's pretty much me for today. That's all the latest updates and stories. So I hope you guys enjoy, get involved in the conversation, but most importantly, man, show us some love, hit that like button, and I'll catch you later tonight with the match review and watch along against djurgarden. Stay tuned. Cool.